Below zero hits us in life. Built for the cold, you say that ain't right. Too cold for the average Joe, just right for those who hear the show. In the image of greatness you were made, but taught by the world to be played. A new generation, we're building, no victims, we're creating. Them haters, keep hating, cause Gen Zero, we blazing. Welcome to another episode of the Built for the Cold podcast. Too cold for the average Joe, just right for me and the listeners and viewers of this show, where we take the D's in life without blaming the God. And how do we do that? So I want to interview and share with you this interview. My friend Caleb, good friend of mine, met in Milwaukee through a mutual friend. And ever since we kind of started networking in the trucking space, all of a sudden became good friends and plan to stay that way and do business together moving forward. But today, Caleb is actually going to be discussing on this interview about how to overcome doubt in business. An attorney, an entrepreneur, a very successful, well-connected guy in the fighting space in the Milwaukee area. When I say fighting, not like, fighting, putting people in jail, even though I know he's an attorney, helps people actually stay out of jail. I mean, like fighting, like UPFC, UFC, there's a lot of big names there. So without further ado, we'll jump into the interview. All right. Well, welcome to another episode of Built for the Cold podcast. I am here with my friend Caleb. We actually connected, how long ago? A couple years back?
About 2 years ago, yeah.
2 years ago, actually through our mutual friend, Charlie. Shout out to Charlie Ortiz. But connected us, and Caleb and I started talking like trucking. I was doing some truck insurance. He'll talk about what he does here in a second, but definitely want Caleb to talk about kind of what he does, but also like his life, what he's overcome as far as like, doubt possibly in business and everything you've overcome in that retrospect. But yeah, we'll just kind of start there, my man. So tell them a little about yourself and what you do, and if you want to talk about how we met, you can. But
yeah, great stuff. So yeah, I guess throwback because I'm from Illinois originally. Grew up there the first 18 years, and then I ended up moving out to Minnesota to start undergrad.
Eckhart.
Yep, yeah. Spent 1 year up in the Twin Cities, and that was a great time. I ended up then finishing up undergrad in Columbus, Ohio. Played some football over there, and then I
OH?
No, I wish, brother. No. Oh, baby, go Bishops. And met some awesome dudes there. Was a member of the Phi Kappa Psi fraternity, Ohio Alpha. Unfortunately, we're now defunct, but it was a great 3 years. Did just a lot of training and lifting out there. Then I got into law school, moved out here to Milwaukee. Spent the next 6 years here. And
I'm just an undergrad. You're the
law
Marquette guy.
Marquette School of Law. Spent did those 3 years. Then 3 years up in Hartford, Wisconsin, working. Moved up to the middle of nowhere, Michigan, and then I decided to come back here, and I've been here ever since. And then took a leap, started my own business.
Amazing, man.
And here we are.
And how long have you been running your own firm?
It was 2 years this month, so it's flown by. I mean, I can't believe I've known you for 2 years now, and
I didn't realize you were just starting.
Yeah, I had just started when I met you. I was like 4 or 5 months into it. I met Charlie when I was like 12 weeks into it, and then Charlie hooked me up with you, and then next thing I know, I'm sitting out in Phoenix having lunch with you, and now we're back in Milwaukee, coincidentally.
Chatting about how we're going to work together on stuff,
business
partnerships.
Yeah, man.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I know for a lot of the viewers here, we talk a lot about resilience and through life and different experiences you have and just how to face the adversity, especially when you're an entrepreneur. You have your own firm and everything, and the ups and downs of kind of what that can look like. You want to speak to different things you've faced and the thrills, however personal you'd like to get.
For sure. I mean, I would say doubt is something that's kind of been with me through my 34 years now, just because of just being involved in athletics since I was about 9. Anytime you're involved in something that's competitive, something that you're kind of branching out or trying as a new experience, you always kind of have some doubt both in yourself, or even when things are going really good, you're kind of waiting maybe for the other shoe to drop. Especially in football, you might be down a couple of points, you might be up a few points. You're always kind of wondering, like, can we get to the finish line on this? And I think a lot of people like to talk about like fear as a big issue that they face, but I feel like fear is just something that's very momentary for me. In that,
what do you mean? That's fascinating.
I was thinking,
a lot of people treat fear as like the paralyzing thing. And
yes, 100%, 100%. And I don't know, 'cause I've been thinking a lot about it this week and kind of trying to, put it into better words since you kind of told me some of the topics you want to talk about. But I feel like fear is like that one step once you jump off into something, like you're really scared to make that first jump. So starting your business, starting a new sport, moving somewhere new. But once you kind of make the step, like the fear is over. And then I feel like then that's when doubt creeps in, like, hey, was this a good choice? Was it not a good choice? Can I keep the pace up? Can I keep the ball rolling? Can I not? And I think that's kind of been the biggest thing for me with having my own business is the doubt portion. The fear,
you experience doubt once and it just goes away, right?
Oh, fear for sure. I feel like, you're like, hey, I work for someone or I'm doing this and now I'm going to make this venture. And once
the
doubt is what just kind of is always lingering in the background.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh man,
sorry to throw you off.
No, it's all right, dude. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the thing, right? And it's sort of like this like slow creep, because like you might have like a good first day of the month, like, hey man, things are rolling, but then like if you're Tuesday, your Wednesday's kind of slow, you're like, hold on, was this a good decision? And then for me, it's sort of recurring, and I always joke that my favorite time of the month is like the last day of the month. Like, heck yeah, we had a great month. You see what your numbers are, you see all the cases that came in, how it looked. And the worst day of the month is the first day of the month, because you're like, hold on, it's 8:03. No one's called me yet. No one has a problem that I can solve, or no one's paid me yet, and it's 8:05. Like, what's going on? It's too slow already. It's kind of dramatic, but that's kind of.
How do you use doubt to fuel you? So, I mean, I know you're not going to speak to this, but I'm going to edify you in front of everyone. You're very well connected in the Milwaukee area. like some famous fighters.
Yeah.
You're always networking. So, like, what allows you to step despite the doubt, like still act in spite of it and bring the best of you?
I would say just having a great number of people. Not that it's a huge number, but I would say it's a very specific or core group of people. When I'm having like an issue like that, I'm like, hey man, like it's been a slow week or a slow day, and they're just like, no man, like relax, like everything's cool, and most of them are involved in their own business ventures, or areas of, I guess, their expertise, and they shoot me some pointers, they tell me some good stuff, and it just kind of keeps me rolling. And they also know I'm kind of dramatic sometimes, so they just kind of like, cats, like, just get it together. You're fine. It's been 24 hours. You're okay. And even though, we've been in business now 2 years, I mean, like, it still kind of creeps in a little bit. It's like it's like this slow burn thing where it's always there behind you. You kind of just have to sort of block it out and get used to it, which I have more so, but like, it just helps when you have people that have been in the trenches and they've kind of been where you're at, and they're just kind of further advanced than you are because they've been doing it a lot longer, and they give you a lot of good pointers, and you're just taking a stride. Yeah.
I love your perspective, because you keep it so like casual, and sometimes I think it's important to, though, because I think sometimes we make like mountains out of molehills, especially when you're an entrepreneur. Like, it's like all of a sudden like one thing happens and you're building into your mind the next 10 things that could possibly go wrong because of that one thing. So how do you like stay in the moment of like something? Let's say something goes wrong in business, or you kind of look at the end of the month, but how do you just stay there and just know how to execute on just the next thing? That's a big skill.
It is a big skill. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm an expert at that yet. That's probably an area of opportunity, as they say nowadays. But I think you just kind of have to step back and look at the big picture. Like, hold on, we've gone 3 months with a profit, or 3 months with month by month growth. It's been 1 or 2 days. Like, let's step back, look at the big picture, the perspective of it. And I think when you realize, like, hold on, it's just a small blip on the radar. It's kind of like looking at the stock market, right? Everyone always focuses on that one dip, but when you pull it way back, 6 months or a year and a half, it's just this nice steady growth with one little small thing you don't even notice in the whole graph. So I'd say that's kind of the way I do. I try to step back a bit and like refocus and just realize, hey,
Does that come from your like athletic background, or where does that come from? It's the ability to refocus and recalibrate.
Oh man, I would say that.
Putting you on the spot.
Yeah. This is a good one.
I want a real raw answer.
I would say it stems a little bit from athletics, but also like you just kind of have to have a short memory. It is almost like being in a sport or a game when you're being an entrepreneur or running your own business, because it's a constant competition every day, and you can't dwell on the one missed call or the one missed opportunity. You just kind of have to keep going forward. And, this is something that I probably need to get better at, because for me, like, I'll work 20 hours a day if I have to, because I don't want to miss any call or any opportunity or any client that I can help. And a lot of people think it's kind of crazy, but when you...
Can I just speak back to that for a second?
Yeah.
I feel like we're in this Instagram world where you can like work for 4 hours a day on your laptop from wherever, and then you're just making like $1 million a day. And like, just talk about the realness of entrepreneurship for a second. You're 2 years in, you've done well. Like, and I know you have way more ambitions beyond that, but you're doing well for like starting out just in 2 years. And just what does that really look like on a day to day? How much work are you putting in?
It's honestly like sun up to sundown, as people say. I mean, I'm in year 2. I have great support staff. We're going to be adding a third person this summer, which is great. We're growing month over month. Each year has been getting bigger, but you honestly are working 24/7, because as when people want to go on vacation or do these types of things, I want to go do that as well, but they're still getting paid for their PTO or their week or two that they're taking off. For me, if I don't have the cases continually coming in, the money coming in, working those days, my assistant's not getting paid, my bills aren't getting paid, I'm not getting paid. So that's kind of the tough part that a lot of people that haven't stepped into the entrepreneur world or started their own business don't really understand. But it is sun up to sundown. If you're not doing it, someone else is. But the crazy thing is, once you get out there and you kind of develop that mindset to be working 24/7, even though I wouldn't recommend it for the rest of your life, but like, there is a ton of clients, a ton of money to be had, and people just do not simply realize it. So
I know a lot of listeners to this show tend to, especially I hear a lot of people have great ideas, right? They like, you have obviously a specialty in law, right? Specifically, especially in the kind of like the trucking space and stuff, and like tickets and everything. But like, a lot of people are kind of like, oh, well, because I have this specialty, I can do pretty well here. But there's always this lingering in the back, the fear and the doubt that creeps in of like, when they all of a sudden have this desire to like, I can do this myself.
right,
it comes in and hits you in a giant wave.
yeah.
So what are some practical steps you would recommend to people overcoming that real first step? Because I know fear just kind of like, you do it and then disappears, but what does that actually look like for you?
So I think for me, in previous jobs that I've had where I had to kind of dip my toe into multiple areas, it was good learning experiences, but you kind of feel like, what am I doing today? What mode or gear do I have to switch into? And to me, that was not helpful for me to like grow and get bigger and better at something. So, if you're switching between divorce to something corporate to a speeding ticket to an actual criminal case, like, you're just all over the place. For me, I like to kind of just focus, get laser focus on a certain area, which is what I've done. And it's helped me find a lot of success in what I'm doing. So once you kind of get that area down, you want to move on to something else when you have a good system and a great, foundation in this one area. I think then you can move on to something new, and it kind of would create less doubt or fear for you. But, for me, I just like to stick in my lane. And then if I want to branch out, I can do that once I have that solid base. But if not, you can always find someone to complement you to bring that in, so that doubt doesn't even creep into you. Someone else you can trust that is familiar or very specialized or knowledgeable about that area can handle it and take that stress on for you.
Yeah. How much you're working, what keeps you excited day in and day out to just like keep going through all the ups and downs that can be entrepreneurship?
I think the biggest motivating factor for me is like, I just want to be bigger and get more. And I think what really pushes me is the competition of like, do I want someone else to get this case instead of me? And the answer is always no. Like, I gotta have it all. I know that sounds probably a bit greedy, but like, I want it all. And
that's what winners think.
And I feel like once you have that big bottleneck or bucket of work, then you know that, hey, I can take on an associate or another support staff, because at that point, I got all this money that's going to be coming in. I can afford them. I don't have to worry about like, do I need a line of credit? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? I'm coming from a strong position where I can take them on. And that's kind of, I think, what drives me on. And then eventually, being able to diversify and take more stuff on.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. I love the perspective that you have, especially just 2 years in doing as well as you are. I was thinking, because we were at dinner last night. And by the way, thank you for that. That was amazing, dude.
And we had to give a shout out to Omar at Carnivore, the best spot in Milwaukee, and Eric and Mark, best support staff at Carnivore.
I was blown away by the hospitality. I'm like, oh, that's why I need to take them. I might have to, when I come back every time, man, that's going to be the place to go meet people.
It's the only spot to go to on a Friday or Saturday. You have to go there.
That's amazing. But it was very good. We were talking last night, right, kind of about what prevents some, like for your industry, like attorneys, right, prevents them from kind of jumping out and taking that step, right? And what do you feel, because it's not just applying obviously to your space, but everywhere else. Like, what would you encourage them to do if, like, they're just kind of, what's the next? I know not just overcoming fear. To your my question.
Yeah, so I guess it'd be two parts. One, the biggest hurdle I see with a lot of people is who I've interviewed or talked to be like, hey man, are you interested in like making a move or anything? This is what I'm doing right now. Is a lot of people like the steady paycheck. They like knowing, hey, I put in my 40, I'm getting this amount of money every 2 weeks, and I'm comfortable with that. I know my expenses, my burdens, all that, and they kind of are happy with that. Also, a lot of people just kind of enjoy their free time after work. You know, they don't want to have to go to this marketing event. They don't want to go out to a dinner meeting. They don't want to sponsor something. I'm always out doing something. So I'm trying to find some more hobbies so I can actually step away from work a little bit. Not too much though, but just a little bit. But that's kind of the big thing I've noticed with a lot of people I've talked to join me is like, you know, I like getting off at 4:30. I got these hobbies. I do this stuff at night. I really don't want to do all these other things. But I would say my advice to someone if they want to make the jump is like, just really think about it, because it isn't what you see on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, you know, like, hey, like, you know, if you do this system and you do this thing and you get this program, like you can kick back 30 minutes a day and it's automated. You don't have to do anything. Not the case. I mean, you're up at midnight, you know, sending out letters to people. You're up at midnight, sending emails, checking stipulations and doing all that stuff. You got to find office space. Then you got to trust that you can find someone that's dependable to work with you. Because at that point, you're trusting them to do their work, because you can't check your work and their work. And make sure you really want to do it, because it isn't, again, taking a month off if you want, because the work stops. And once you lose that momentum, it's tough to get the momentum back. So it isn't that easy, and the money doesn't come that fast. And you really got to go out there and try to grab it and get it.
How do you mean by that?
Once you start, like, no one knows who you are. Like, you know, maybe I had a couple of clients that worked with me that I worked with before, and they're just kind of like, you know, I've worked with you before. Like, yeah, well, I'll bring my cases with you, you know, when I started my own firm. But from that point on, I mean, you're just another name on a door in a city of 500,000 people. And everyone knows like the big name firms, but do they know who Caleb Katz is, or Katz Law, or John Smith, whoever it is? And the answer is no. So you got to get out there. You really got to hit the bricks. You got to be leaving cards everywhere, Starbucks, gas stations, Quick Trips, and you got to be handing out cards when you meet someone. Always talk about what you do, what your business is, what your area of law is, and then just hope that starts gets the ball rolling. And once you start getting some clients coming in, and you just keep getting more and more and more, and you keep doing like a good job, then you start getting referrals, or you notice that someone recommends you in like a comment section on Facebook, and then at that point you can start maybe dialing back what you do if you have the infrastructure and the support staff. If you don't, you're still doing the 24 hours a day work. So
you're in the point of like scaling. What I get so inspired hearing you talk, because it's just like this level of absolute obsession.
It is. It's terrible. And
no, I don't see it as a terrible thing. It's what is required to be. It's like the Mamba mentality. We talk a lot about that on this show, like Mamba mentality, R.I.P. Kobe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a struggle for all those young kids. They don't probably even know who, you know, Kobe and Michael Jordan are outside of just like the name.
Exactly.
But we saw him play, and you saw obviously different elements of like how tenacious you have to be, and I see that a lot in how you work and move, and all the athletes that you're connected with, and how you see them move. Talk to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you do have to be obsessed, which for me, it's traffic tickets, which is probably the most mundane, peripheral law areas.
People in jail.
Guys, I mean, if you want to go to jail, give me a call. I'm just kidding, but no. But it's the most mundane topic in law. I mean, like, no one really thinks about it. It's pretty overlooked. I mean, a lot of people don't even really think to use a lawyer for it, but it really can have significant after effects. And I think we've created a great system here, and we get, you know, excellent results every time. So now I've gotten more obsessed with it. Actually, people call me all the time for it. So, I mean, you know, I love it. That's what keeps me motivated, is the people that are happy with the result, you know, or happy happy. They're happy with me for getting a result for their kid, saving their insurance, or whatever. So, I mean, that's always a good feeling. But then once you start sponsoring, getting out into some events and meeting people that are like really killing it, or they're really well connected, or they have tons of businesses and they're like kind of at the point that you always want to get to, like you see how they're moving and what they're doing, you're just like, holy cow, man, I got a lot of work left to do. Like I thought I was important and doing a lot of cool stuff, but I'm not even on these guys' radar. And it's like you gotta, just keep grinding so you can hit that point. So I'm at that scaling point. It's also really tough when you're an entrepreneur and you've kind of started something and seen it grow, is handing over some of the reins on some of these things. And you're just like, hold on, this is how I always do it. Maybe.
So what doubts, since on the topic of doubt, what doubts creep in then? Again, people wanting to be entrepreneurs listening.
Yeah, so the doubt that definitely creeps in is like, can I trust this person? Does this person fully understand like the way that we do it? Are they going to do it the way that I do it? And if they do change it up, is it more efficient or is it not as efficient? And you kind of have to trust some, trial and error with someone new, because my assistant, she's been a rock star with like Microsoft Suite and all these other cool things that she knows how to do, that I'm just kind of like, sounds good. I have no idea. And she's really like, refined and kind of dialed in some of our processes that way. And I think that's pretty key. And you got to trust that someone's organization and their work patterns are going to fit yours, and they can kind of tolerate you, which Maria tolerates me, emailing at midnight or 2 a.m. like, hey, Maria, this case just came in. Like, can you please have this stuff prepped by 8 or 8:30 for me? And she's always a rock star doing that. So, I mean, that's probably the biggest doubt for me, is handing over those reins and that trust that they can actually handle it too. So
it helps though when you have an understanding of the bigger picture. Going back to
you gotta have the big picture, and they kind of got to understand the vision that you have and kind of where they're going to be, fitting in as another piece to like a growing puzzle. So
that's so fascinating, because you're talking like obsession about work, and that fuels, actually, it's almost like so overwhelming. It kind of overcomes a lot of the fear. Right. And like, I know obviously you can name the names if you'd like to. I will obviously protect that because I know you have connected very well. But the fighters that you know and see and observe and work with, like how they move, how they network, what inspires you the most there?
I'll be honest, most of the guys are probably the most like humble and like down to earth guys you'll meet. And like sometimes you think like, hey, you're gonna meet this like millionaire or this big time business person or this athlete, like they're just gonna be, kind of a jerk or not that friendly. And like a lot of these dudes you meet and you're just like, holy cow, this guy will sign autographs for 2 or 3 hours and not even like watch the event that he's there to promote. Or if they see you in public or like anything like that, they'll just come shake your hand, tell you like, hey man, how's everything going? How's work? How's the firm? How's life? What's new? And I think that's the coolest thing. And I think that personability is what makes them so marketable and like so good at what they do. Because a lot of being an athlete is people have to like you. Either that, or you have to be like the ultimate heel, right? Where everyone just hates you.
Fighting in a case, just not get knocked out so many times, because then otherwise people probably won't follow you.
That is true. But if you're in there just getting after and you just happen to get KO'd.
Last night you jump in a ring, just get knocked out for free, man.
If the UFC wants to come, I'll have them there and get knocked out for free. That's no problem to me.
Knocked out in front of Dana White.
That's no problem, man. I'll hop in there, no question. I'll do it at APFC.
We're gonna put a plug in for that, by the way, so that way if Dana White ever listens to this.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the biggest thing I noticed. And then they're always out dinners, meetings, social media, whatever, with people, and they're just kind of always trying to get plugged into anyone they can. Because I mean, your network can't be too big.
It's amazing, man. Yeah. Anything else you want to share?
I mean, I think if you think that you can handle starting your own business, the entrepreneurial life, like you just got to do it. I mean, again, you're gonna have some fear doing it. You got to decide if it's going to be a chance or a gamble. You know what I mean? Like, can I recover from this if I try it, or is it going to be too much of a gamble where if I fail, like I'm completely, done for? And I think that was something that I weighed, and a lot of people that, I had met who were also entrepreneurs were like, hey man, you just got to give it a shot if you think you can do it. But if it's going to be too much of a gamble, and if you don't pull it off, and you have no cash reserves, or you have a house payment or your kid's school payment, whatever, and you can't do it, then don't do it. But if you think you can pull it off, or you have a good support system, people that want to help you, like, just do it.
Oh, confidence in there.
I like it. And I mean, it just has so many more advantages.
You have that element to you.
Most days. I mean, I would say it's mostly the doubt or fear that keeps me fueled. Because I'm just like, I have a bigger fear of like failing than I do of like confidence of like finding success.
Well, that's actually normal, right? Because a lot of people, and we didn't realize this, I was studying this recently, not that it's like new information for anyone,
right?
But like we're actually like prehistoric times, like humans were wired for survival.
Right.
So our default is actually fear that motivates us.
Right.
And people don't realize that actually, like people will see there's all these different paths you can take. And you're like, think of all the paths. You're only really afraid of one of them.
Right.
Probably the one you should go after.
It's true. I mean, I think fear can be a great motivator. I mean, I know some people probably disagree with it in management styles and such, but I think
people don't listen to this podcast.
Hey, man, I'm just saying. I think the fear, man, if it keeps you going, because for me, like, you just kind of got to have that and that doubt in the back of your head, like, holy cow, can I keep doing this? And that's kind of what keeps pushing me on. And then you see some results, and then it just kind of multiplies, which is huge. So yeah.
Amazing, well, I appreciate your perspective, man. I appreciate you taking the time to
man.
On here. Where can everyone follow you, find you?
Yeah, so you can find us in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We do traffic tickets all throughout Wisconsin and Michigan. We're located right downtown. You can find me on Instagram at Attorney Katz, 414-678-1238. Or you can always find me at any type of the events that we're sponsoring. Yeah. We got a big one coming up June 15th at Potawatomi Casino with Anthony Pettis' Fighting Championship. Make sure you make it out. It's always the best event in Milwaukee, in my opinion, if you like MMA and mixed martial arts.
Hey, look, it's also on Father's Day, guys. So all you dads, sons, not a better way than that. I wish I was here for it and not in Tampa.
Perfect gift, man. We got some great guests coming in to check it out. Some belts might be handed over. We'll see. There's always some good knockouts, some good action. It's a whole day of fights. I mean, you can't beat it. So
awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, dude, thanks for your time, man.
No problem, dude. Thanks for having me on. Absolutely. It's a blast. Let's do it again.
Cool. This is where winners learn to be great. Built for the cold, you say? That damn straight. The lessons, the love, the insights from above. Hope you take them and grow, even with another cup of Joe. Thank you for dropping in and listening to the show.